I never really knew how people used to put GIFs on Twitter. I always just thought that the person downloaded it and uploaded it as tweets and replies. But now I know it's actually this button right here. I never really tweet a lot, just retweet what celebrities say. But once I started focusing on my TVC Twitter and found it, I can just say with utmost confidence that I'm gonna abuse the effing hell out of it. Remember back in the good old days when people thought Rose was Pink Diamond? Those simple-minded simpletons. Now I'm gonna dive into a topic that I haven't really seen anyone address. Why did Rose shatter Pink Diamond? From what Garnet tells Steven, it's because Rose knew that Earth would never be really free if Pink Diamond lived. But from what Steven says in Storm in the Room, shattering Pink Diamond is what put Earth in danger in the first place. Now let's recap. If shattering Pink Diamond wasn't necessary in the pursuit to free Earth, then why did Rose do it? Why do something that's deemed redundant? Depending on time and stuff, this video might come out before or after Rocknaldo. But nevertheless, let's theorize. In season 1 and 2 of Steven Universe, we all had a pretty clear picture of Rose, a loving and caring being who hated seeing what her kind was doing to the planet Earth and rebelled against them. We've heard countless times in different forms that Rose believed all life was precious and loved even the ugliest of things. But by Bismuth, everyone, and I mean goddamn everyone, began to doubt Rose. She locked away a gem for 5,000 years and told no one, not even letting her closest friends know. Garnet herself even tells Pearl Rose keeps a lot of secrets and she sometimes does things many won't understand. But because she was looked upon as a leader, everyone trusted her decision. Isn't this a little like homeworld gem mentality? The crystal gems followed Rose because she was a leader against the homeworld tyranny. But they didn't even know most of what their own leader was about or doing. They just followed blindly, like they did with the diamonds. Now, I'm not here to paint Rose in a bad light, far from it. But what if Rose also didn't know half of what she was doing, and everyone was following a blind leader? Okay, now let me go 180 on you. Remember when I mentioned that I think Pink Diamond was the gem that entered the zoo back in my The Zoo episode review? No? Then go watch the video! I recently watched a video by Slice of Otako. Honestly, it was the first video of his I've ever watched. Shh, please don't tell him. And he made a point I'd like to borrow into this video. I'm not gonna spoil much of what he says, but the raw gist is, what if all rose quartz gems were made to take care of the humans in the zoo instead of amethyst? But TVC, rose quartz were made to fight in wars, not be nannies. You're dumb. This whole video's stupid. Yeah, so amethysts were also made to fight, but look at them now. And we know Rose has a thing for humans, dating a lot of them in the past, as Pearl told Greg back in We Need to Talk. Rose is more gentle when it comes to humans, and she doesn't shy away from being around them as the other crystal gems were. Liking humans so much, she wanted to have one. Are you getting what I'm going at? Don't worry, I'll explain in a minute. If Slice was right, then it would make sense to assume Rose worked in the zoo at some point, seeing as she probably wasn't created on Earth like Jasper or Amethyst. If she was made on Earth, I think it would have been mentioned by now, right? We know Pearl was definitely at the zoo at some point because she did say back when she still served the homeworld, White Diamonds, Pearl. She saw it.
When I still served homeworld, I saw it myself. A private menagerie deep in space, humans in captivity.
Maybe it was around this time Pearl and Rose first met? I digress. If Pearl still served homeworld at the time, then how come she wasn't able to open the door and had trouble opening others? Things just don't add up. When I even theorized that Pink Diamond was the one who entered the zoo, someone in the comments pointed out that the amethysts were able to enter as well, so it couldn't be that only diamonds could enter. But if an amethyst could get in, why couldn't a pearl? Seeing as she specifically said she saw the humans in captivity. She didn't just pass by and saw it through a spaceship. See, this is what I like about my theories. I make y'all think. So let's build back up from what we know. Maybe a special type of clearance is given before a gem can enter the zoo. Probably only when a diamond is present, like when Blue Diamond was around. That was when the amethysts were able to enter and attend to the hurt humans. Okay, so how does this apply to Rose? Now, I'm gonna go 360 on ya. But doesn't 360 mean I'm back to my starting point? Anyway, what if back then Rose was the one sent in to take care of the hurt human? We learned in the episode The Zoo that physically hurting someone isn't what causes gems to come through, that it was emotional hurt. But I'm not buying it. Yes, we see the amethyst come in to attend to the bitch-ass broken-hearted humans, but I believe that was just an incredibly huge coincidence. Obviously, with Blue Diamond visiting, they couldn't have sad and crying humans about, so they had to come in and take care of them. And it just so happens that what happened to them could be deemed as hurt, and it was how they interpreted the feeling. But what if actual physical hurt inflicted on the human was what caused the door to be opened the first time? Maybe involving wounds that only someone with healing tears could fix? Nudge nudge, wink wink. I swear to you, I'm writing and making this up as I go. Now, J10, thanks by the way, says,
there is a story of an opening wall. A very long time ago, a gem came through a wall hole to help someone who was hurt.
To help someone who was hurt. Help. That's an off word for someone who doesn't even know the meaning of the word hurt or bad to use.
Hurt?
What do you mean, hurt?
I don't know. I don't know what hurt is.
Okay, now this is the part of my theory where things get a little dark. We know from the two current diamonds we've seen that they can be pretty cold and ruthless, one diamond being military minded while the other is more diplomatic, but still very tyrannical. Now, if anything, I've always felt sad for Pink D because
it's tragic that Pink Diamond's existence in this universe ended up being so finite.
But the gems never really show any warmth or sadness when mentioning her demise. So let's put our pity for Pink Diamond aside and think critically. What if she was actually cold and ruthless like the other diamonds, but in her own way? Military ruthless, diplomatically ruthless, and maybe nurturingly? From the diamond hierarchy, we know Pink Diamond was in charge of growing, building, creating, and if she was ruthless, it might be in a Darwinism type way. Anything that wasn't perfect should die, anything that wasn't great shouldn't exist. It explains why we see some off Era 2 gems, other than the perfect Era 1s we're used to, aside from Pearl. And if diamonds have little to no regard for their own gems, their subjects, how would they feel about the Earth and humans?
It's full of life.
Organic life. Good. We'll finally get some use out of that miserable planet. I don't care about potential and resources.
What?
I want my cluster, and I want that planet to die. Just make that happen. You are to leave the cluster to grow. It will tear apart the Earth, and I will take immense satisfaction in erasing that hideous rock off of our star maps. Is that clear?
Ugh, I'm dancing around the point. My theory is, what if Pink Diamond was hurting humans for sport? Maybe even killing them. I really wouldn't put it past her. She abducted humans from their families. She put them in a zoo as trophies. Just because the cage they're in is perfect and nice doesn't change the fact that they're still captives, animals to be looked at for amusement. What if Pink Diamond did something to the humans, hurt them in some sort of way, and Rose was a gem that went to help them?
That's heavy.
There are little holes in this theory, but let's plug them up. Holly Blue says they've been maintaining the zoo since the dawn of Era 2. Like I already theorized before, Era 2 began when Pink Diamond was shattered, which means it was around the time Holly Blue gained control of the zoo. She wouldn't have had any contact with Pink Diamond, but may have gotten information of the door being opened prior to her command. Probably seeing Pink Diamond harm a human was the straw that broke the camel's back that made Rose resolved in shattering Pink Diamond, because Pearl did say they had no way of making it back to the zoo after the war, so if Rose left Pink Diamond alive, she could continue torturing humans for her amusement, seeing as there was no one powerful enough to stop her. And you might also say, but Holly Blue and J10 said the door has only been opened once, and J10 says a gem came in. Yeah, maybe the human was brought to the zoo hurt. Huh? I don't know, you guys. It was just seeing Steven yelling at his mom that
I know what you are! You're a liar!
That got me bubbling. I always thought things might be sketchy about Rose, but never thought much of it because of, well, Steven. But now that her own son doubts her, I had to take action. I had to understand why she did it. And if this theory is true, then I'm looking forward to Steven Universe much more now. We know the Crewniverse isn't past putting dark stuff and themes into the show, damaging relationships, obsession, depression, extremism, and if they find a way to introduce abuse into the show, my brain is doing somersaults just thinking about it. Who knows? Probably the turmoil of shattering Pink Diamond might have been what pushed her to lock Bismuth away, because the act was so horrific she never wanted anyone to do it, or because Pink Diamond herself does those same acts, she was afraid of Bismuth and locked her away to protect everybody. And who knows, do you think Rose shattered Pink Diamond before Bismuth or after? The timeline is so jacked up. I know the comment sections will be a little minefield if this video blows up like my new Pink Diamond video did, but just be civil and have fun. Anyway, thanks y'all so much for clicking to watch. Please do not forget to read my books on Wattpad and support me on Patreon. And as always, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and stay awesome. This is TVC signing out.